Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, an update on where some of your stars have landed in free agency, controversial opinions on free agent decisions, and more starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, and welcome to another exciting adventure of Debates Among Friends live on Mixlr. And like us on our Facebook page and the same name, or go to www.facebook.com/debatesamongfriends. This is the 10th edition of this sportcast, and we are glad you decided to join us tonight. I am known as the Professor, and right here is the Doctor, who can lay it down, the smack it down on your Rudy Poo. Doctor, are you ready to get started?
I am. Got my prescription pad ready, and I am ready to go, my friend.
Let's jump right into it. We're going to play immediately a soundbite from your boy, Stephen A. Smith, regarding a big free agency signing.
Because you know.
So let's just hear that real quick.
How are you viewing this move from Durant?
Well, I'm viewing it as the weakest move I've ever seen from a superstar. Plain and simple. That's just how I look at it. It's not that he's leaving Oklahoma City. If you're not happy there, you want to move on and you want to grow as a player, there's nothing wrong with that. He's one of the top 3 players in the world. He's a quintessential superstar. He deserves all the credit in the world for the talent that he possesses. But the flip side is this. They were up 3-1 in the Western Conference Finals. Not 1, not 2, but 3 different times. He was 48 minutes removed from getting to the NBA Finals by winning the Western Conference. 3 times he failed, particularly in Game 6. And you depart for the team that beat you when you're on the cusp of getting to the finals yourself and ultimately winning the championship for the franchise that you've been with since you've come into the NBA. I think it's incredibly weak, and I don't want to hear any comparisons to that of LeBron James when LeBron James left Cleveland for South Beach. When LeBron left Cleveland, the cupboard was bare. He was basically the only dude in Cleveland. It was LeBron James and a bunch of no-names. In the case of Kevin Durant, you have one of the top 5 players in the world as your teammate. You got Billy Donovan, who's proven to be an exceptional coach. You've got the coaching staff. You've got a first-class organization. You've got Enes Kanter, Steven Adams, and all of these boys. You are legitimately a championship contender. You are the difference. You are the superstar, and you depart for the team that beat you. That's the 2-time reigning defending Western Conference champions, who's won a championship in the last 2 years. You're jumping on a bandwagon, as far as I'm concerned. That's just the way that I look at it. I don't think there's any way to deny that. All the reporters, whether it's Ramona, it's Chris Broussard, everybody doing an exceptional job. They're, pointing out the things that they point out. I don't disagree with anything anybody is saying. But in the end, what it comes down to is that Kevin Durant is one of the top 3 players in the world. And he ran away from the challenge that he faces in order to jump on the bandwagon of a team that's a little bit better, that's already right with at least one superstar, a couple of guys that can really, really get it done. I just view it as him jumping on the bandwagon, and I think it's the weakest move I've ever seen by a superstar, plain and simple.
So, Doctor, initial thoughts right after that.
I mean, it's clear that Kevin Durant is a top 3 superstar. How many times was he going to say it? But that is crazy of him to say that LeBron James and Kevin Durant shouldn't have any comparison because LeBron James's team was bare. I don't think it really matters if your team is bare. You leave. It doesn't really matter if there's a good team. It doesn't really matter if it's a bad team. But it's the team that you're leaving. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter.
You know what the craziest part is? Is that those LeBron James Cavaliers...
The LeBron Maniacs.
Well, we're going to talk about the LeBron Maniacs in a second, actually. But those teams were the top seed in the East for years straight. Like, his last year, I would probably say, was the most stacked that Cavaliers team ever was.
Agreed.
Like, we're talking about... we're talking about a team that would sit there during games and would be dancing on the sidelines. But Mr. Smith has alluded to that fact that they were celebrating before they were celebrating.
I think, see, that's why it's kind of strange because in this particular situation, we're talking about a Cleveland team at that time that, I mean, they did have an aging Shaq. They had Antoine Jameson, Boobie Gibson, Mo Williams. Yeah, I mean, they had some pretty good role players. I mean, but it just didn't work out. He left Cleveland high and
And
dry.
dry.
And that's
Exactly.
the only thing I'm like, well, Kevin Durant didn't leave this team high and dry, and I actually gave credit to the Thunder because I thought, well, hey, they're not going to be in that position like they did when LeBron left. They went
Mhm.
out and got some really really good free agents. They got some great players. They got a good rookie back in Sabonis.
I agree.
They got Oladipo. Um, I don't know if they trade, if they trade Russell Westbrook right away, maybe around the trade deadline, you know what I mean? To
They
see
might
what's
do
going
that.
on.
They
Yeah,
might do
but
that.
I mean, still,
It's an entirely different paradigm when you look at it like this.
yeah.
I mean,
And I'll even tell you this. Not
Stephen A. makes a lot of valid points.
He does. He does.
He makes a lot of valid points. We will both say that to go to the team that spanked you after you was up 3-1, it is a soft move.
But what if they didn't? I mean,
we can agree with
it
that.
still wouldn't have been. It wouldn't have been
But-
no difference. It wouldn't have been a
but-
difference.
And exactly, I was gonna say. I mean, but even still, like,
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a difference.
okay, let's go into the LeBron mania.
Wait, no, hold on. Wait, hold on. Because it wouldn't have been a difference. Because I think no matter what happens, even if, well, let's think about it like this: if they just lost in 7 games, where it was like it wasn't 3-1, and let's just say it was 2-2, 3-2, 3-3, and then it went to 7 games, he still would have left. You know what I mean? Only way he would have stayed in Oklahoma City is had they won the series and got to the finals.
I agree.
That is it. You don't know the heartbreak, and this is where me being a coach, all of us being players, especially if you've been a player or a coach on a winning team, it's like when you get to a playoffs and you get close to, let's say, a semifinals Western Conference championship or a conference finals in the NFL or whatever, far, and you lose, and then you have to do a whole season, an off season. That stuff right there hurts.
Yes, it definitely tolls on the mind. It
Yeah,
definitely tolls on the psyche.
So if you can go to the Golden State Warriors, who back to back gone to the finals, if somebody could go out there and join LeBron right now, everybody's going to try to get to Cleveland. You know what I mean?
And you know what? That's the point I was just gonna make. I was just gonna make that point because when he went to Miami,
Right.
what happened in Miami?
Everybody wanted to go to Miami.
Everybody wants to go to Miami. Everybody want to play with LeBron in Miami.
Look, like I said yesterday, David West joins the Warriors.
The Warriors
Ray Allen wants to come out of retirement to join the Warriors.
or the Cavs.
The Cavs don't got no money. They got no money. They can't sign anyone.
And that's the point. And maybe that's why people are so upset is the fact that Golden State actually has the cap.
They got rid of Bogut. Once they got rid of Bogut and let Harrison Barnes walk, and they let a few other people, Zealy walk, they had a little more cap.
Yep.
They brought in Durant. They got David West.
And maybe that's what people are more upset about is the fact that they made it work in free agency like that.
Now, and here's the part that's kind of weird because you can't even do this kind of stuff in a video game, like where you can agree to trade and sign someone, and then you get enough time. I guess it actually doesn't. Well, I guess it makes sense now because I think this particular part of free agency, you can't actually trade someone officially until tomorrow.
Yes.
So they still have the time to get rid of people and make it all work. But what a stretch of time between January 1st and January 7th to make all these deals, and you don't even know if you're going to have the cap to do it. So a team.
Do you mean July, Doctor?
What did I say?
You said January.
My bad.
I thought I was like, wait a minute. Did he just say January? Wait a minute. Where is my North Face jacket? Where is it?
But I mean, that stretch of time between July 1st and July 7th, where you can sign all these people without even knowing where everybody's gonna sit, is kind of crazy. But
I agree.
I respect Durant because as much as to know that you're gonna come up with a lot of flack. I mean, you're gonna get hammered. His restaurant's taking a beating right now on Yelp. Like everything about him is taking a beating. They took his name off the wall. They ripped down his poster. They're burning his jerseys, of course.
Okay, wait, stop right there. So it's not as big as people make it sound.
It's really not.
Okay, when LeBron left Cleveland,
That was rough.
that was rough.
Only because Cleveland really wasn't a good team, and that's what I'm saying. In this particular situation, it's
But
really
with
bad.
but wait, hold on, let me real quick. But when KD left, there was maybe 5 people who burned their jerseys.
Yes.
But the way that the media depicted made it seem like it was thousands.
But see, in this particular one, you didn't have the owner or GM coming out saying, "Hey, we're gonna win a title."
That's what I'm
LeBron.
saying. Like they try to make it look worse, but it's not that worse. I mean, I'm on Twitter at Ken86 on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you follow me.
TLW.
But I'm on Twitter and I'm looking at the feeds and I'm seeing OKC fans are wishing him well on his
Yes.
future endeavors. They're not sitting there. They're not doing what Cleveland did to LeBron. And this was my main problem with Cleveland and the Cavaliers fan base.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back. He might just go back. But I mean, I highly doubt it at this point. But
But like, they sat there and wished the worst for LeBron James.
LeBron James.
OKC fans aren't necessarily doing that to Kevin Durant. Yeah, there are
Because
some
they-
that's doing that, but those are fans. That's what
And
you
I
can
think it's
expect to happen.
because they still have a pretty good team. Like
They
they
still
really
do.
like. Don't get me wrong.
Here's the funniest part. They still made the playoffs when Kevin Durant was out, which was Russell Westbrook and Ernest Cantor.
And they're gonna be fine. And I
And they're
think
going to be fine.
they're gonna still win 50+ games. They'll be top 4 in the West. There's going to be a lot of competition because everybody got better except for my Houston Rockets. I will throw that out there and be objective, as you said yesterday. I can be objective. I don't think we're going to be great. We're going to skid into the playoffs if we make it. But the Thunder, they'll be fine. The Warriors, top team in the West.
Of course.
Spurs, number 2, because they picked up this all. I'll say a team like Memphis, or the Thunder.
No, I think Memphis is probably not going to make the playoffs this year.
You don't think so?
I don't know. They didn't really do too much to me.
I say they're going to be number 4 or 5 because they have the same team. Everybody's just going to be healthy. You pick up Chandler
I
Park.
mean, they have the most, paid player in NBA history.
It's unbelievable. I know LeBron is
But,
driving.
but before we start going into that whole thing, let's talk about the LeBron Maniacs and their reaction to Kevin Durant going to the Warriors. Because I seen a funny meme out there today where someone said LeBron lost to the Celtics. He never went and played for the Celtics. He went to the Heat. Kevin Durant loses to the Warriors. He goes to the Warriors.
Oh my God.
That's the only argument people can make.
He didn't have to do that. He said, "Hey, guys, I think we should play together."
I mean, doctor, you tell me. Other than that argument right there, what other argument do people have?
I don't know, because I saw another meme out there that said, "Hey, Gabby, is Dwayne home? We need to talk."
Hey, Dwayne might not even be in Miami anymore.
And that's another thing we could talk about. But I think.
But let's just talk about that crux of the LeBron Maniacs and how they try to twist this whole thing around.
Saying that it's not the same thing because LeBron didn't have a team. And like I said, leaving a team is leaving a team.
Leaving the team is leaving the team.
You went to build this team, and that's the part that I have a problem with, because you went to build this team in Miami where you could have did this for Cleveland. You know what I mean? You could have built this in Cleveland. You didn't have to build it in Miami. Nope. You could have brought Mario Chalmers over to the Cleveland instead of
poor Mario Chalmers. Yeah. He was just like that odd man out throughout those 4 years.
It's crazy. I actually just picked him up in 2K. It's pretty hilarious.
Anywho.
Yeah, but I think that he could have built this team in Cleveland. He didn't have to leave. He could have been the leader that he's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
He could have helped build Cleveland into a powerhouse. He could have went out and said, "Hey, let's trade for Carmelo, or let's sign Carmelo." He could have went out and got Chris Paul, and his friends all could have played in Cleveland.
Exactly.
And I mentioned to my brother, and this is where I know the LeBron Maniacs just probably blocked me immediately, but LeBron James, had he never left Cleveland, I think he either doesn't get his first ring or he's just getting his first ring.
I completely agree.
There's no 7 straight finals. There's nothing, because he would have stayed in Cleveland. They might have upgraded once in a while. There would be no Kyrie. Kyrie would probably be somewhere else. But he needed to leave Cleveland in order for them to cocoon, so to speak, into something else and not rely on him. So I don't know if it was like, hey, LeBron, probably said, hey, I'm gonna come back after 4 years. Maybe he penned a secret letter to the GM or owner, like, hey, just try to get it together. I'm gonna come back in 4 years. I'm just gonna go
That's
to
funny.
I'm gonna go to South Beach, and I'm gonna come back.
Speaking of South Beach, so we're gonna get to this, and then we're gonna start talking about the other free agencies.
Sure.
We can go on all night long.
LeBron Maniacs, yeah.
About the LeBron Maniacs. So, the other question I have for you, Doctor, the people want to know. They're telling me this in my ears right now. They want to know. Other than the decision to go to South Beach, what's the difference between what Kevin Durant did and what LeBron did when he left South Beach back to Cleveland?
See,
because when you think about that, they lost, but they didn't just lose in the finals. They got shellacked. They got whooped. They got schooled by the San Antonio Spurs.
The LeBron.
And he decided that he'd rather go to a much younger team because the issue was Dwayne Wade. The issue was Chris Bosh, even though Chris Bosh was balling at that time.
See, they don't see that. They don't remember that.
But people don't remember that.
But see, that's the thing with LeBron and Maniacs is that they don't know because they're not really Miami Heat fans. They're just LeBron fans. So it's like
they're not even Cavaliers.
They're not Cavalier fans. They're LeBron fans.
Walking around with Cavaliers jerseys, and it drives the professor insane.
It really does, and that's the part that's really, really crazy because when you think about it in the long run, LeBron left after getting mollywopped by the Spurs, and
it wasn't really a series.
He went back. He went back to Cleveland. Now, KD didn't get mollywopped.
No.
They let him. I mean, they had him exactly where they were, who they thought they were, and they let him off the hook. And I think that them losing had nothing to do with KD's decision. So, in retrospect, like I said, if they would have lost regularly, he probably would have stayed. If it was 7 games, nobody would even be questioning this. If he went to any other team, nobody would be questioning it.
Nope.
But the fact that he went to the Warriors is where the big question comes in. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Number one, while I was driving home, this is what I was thinking. Real talk. This is gonna sound like the craziest thing ever, but I'm happy that people are coming together. Even when Miami first came together, I was like, oh, that's kind of whack. You got 3 pretty good stars coming together. That's kind of whack. When Boston did it before, it was like, man, got the old timers coming together, the vets coming together. That's pretty cool.
But that was more because of front office instead of.
And I really appreciated that.
That's totally different, though.
It wasn't about, hey, let's take less money so we can go play together.
Exactly.
And in this particular case, it's still not about people taking less money. KD is just, hey, I'm going over here. I'm still getting my max contract, or I'm getting pretty big money. I think he's getting like 20-something million a year, something crazy.
He still left money on the table in
he
OKC.
Did. He did, but again, constant struggle with Russell Westbrook, who, like I said, I don't think he's going back to OKC next year.
No.
And I really
the
think
writing's on the wall. Like, it's already, reports are out there. They're trying to trade him. But they can get a lot for him.
They could, but they're probably not going to because people know that
In fact, I will say this, and this will be controversial.
Uh-oh.
A trade for Russell Westbrook will be the equivalent of a Carmelo Anthony trade. And I hate saying this because I still dislike that trade, but that's the kind of trade that will end up happening.
So the whole team has to go.
A pretty good portion of a team.
But see, they don't need that though, and that's where it's kind of strange. Like a team like I don't even know where, because they're stacked. They don't really need that, and that's where it kind of gets tricky. Because they don't need that in a team, like they don't need those pieces. Like the Nuggets, they needed the whole Knicks franchise.
They did.
You know what I mean? And they're still struggling from that day. Had they not made that trade, who knows where they would be? Carmelo might have walked, but then at least, I guess they would still be in the same spot. So it kind of doesn't matter.
They'll be a good lottery team. They'll be getting a lot of these, young people that's coming through though.
That's true. That's
Just
true.
saying.
But I mean, as far as the whole KD thing, I just think that you leave a team. Russell Westbrook probably leaving, which is why I think Al Horford probably didn't want to sign with the Thunder because number one, he wasn't waiting for Durant, and number two, the uncertainty of Russell Westbrook, which is probably why he didn't want to come to a lot of teams. He didn't want to go back to Atlanta because he didn't want to play with Dwight. He chose Boston because probably their history. They're a pretty solid team, missing that one piece that my friend always talks about. Shout out to CJ. He always talking about him. And it's just one of those things where I mean, free agency was really big this year. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed
Yep.
every minute.
So that's actually an excellent segue. Let's start talking about some of these. We already talked about the big one. Thank
LeBron,
you, SB Nation, for that one.
LeBron's
The
not
big one,
signed.
Kevin Durant. LeBron James hasn't signed yet,
I mean, they say he is. I don't know.
and Dwayne Wade hasn't signed as well either.
Well, I
So
heard that LeBron's not taking less money. I did read that earlier. He's not taking less money to play with
we
anybody.
shall see.
The report.
You want me to tell you? You want me to tell you why I say that? We shall see because of the whole KD
Yeah, but I
signing
mean,
with the Lakers.
that was after the whole signing. I just saw that like yesterday that LeBron said he's not taking less money for this. This is ridiculous. He's going to get paid. I did see that the Bulls are interested in obtaining
Wade.
Wade's services, bringing him to Chi-Town.
Yep.
Uh,
I think it was either them or the Nuggets. 2 years, $50 million, which is 10 grand more.
I think the problem was that the Bulls are the only team that's willing to give him a third year because this will probably be his last big contract.
Yeah.
So
And plus, he'll be back home.
he will be back home, which is kind of perfect. Everybody trying to go back home, aren't they? Pissants. I'm not trying to go back home.
Shout out to New Jersey.
Yeah. So the third person here is Andre Drummond, who re-signed with Detroit 5 years.
Which we all knew was going to happen. He wasn't leaving.
million, and the big jackpot winner, $153 million to Mike Conley, the number 4 free agent on the list. 5 years, $153 million.
$53 million.
My goodness.
Insane.
I'd rather get 20. So then after that, you got Al Horford, who, like we said, signed with the Celtics.
Yep.
30 years old. I think he's going to fit in there well. I'm interested to see if they bring Sellinger back, because I like Sellinger. Bless you. I liked Olenek. I liked a few of those bigs that they had down there. I didn't think they had to go
good
for Al
core
Horford.
3 bigs. I mean, it'd be pretty reminiscent of the 80s Celtic right there.
Yeah, I think they could have probably could have swung for Dwight, but I understand why they would have went. Al Horford gives you more offensively.
Exactly.
But they needed defense because their bigs weren't that great defensively. So hopefully,
No, they just needed better rebounding.
and that's all Dwight's good for. So let's move on. Second in the jackpot winning, DeMar DeRozan with $145 million.
145.
Do you think that's too much?
I think that was well enough to keep him in Toronto. If not, the Lakers would have found a way to snatch him up.
Gotcha.
So the Raptors did what they had to do to keep him. End of the day, they did what they needed to do.
It's true, they did. I mean, and that's why I really wanted Paul Gasol to go there, but we can get to Paul a little later. We do have Dwayne Wade, who we mentioned.
Here's another jackpot winner, Nicholas Batum.
Nick Batum did.
5 years, $120 million with the Hornets.
Everybody apparently wanted Nick Batum. And I mean,
he's a good two-way player. He's good offensively. He's good defensively. He could rebound the ball, and he could defend 1 to 3.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's really, really good. I don't know. I think, well, based on what I read, everybody was thinking about him. He's actually the number 11 person on this list.
I agree.
And let's see, we skipped Hassan Whiteside, who kind of just re-upped with the Miami Heat, which is probably.
I said that was going to happen. He wasn't leaving.
Yeah, that's probably why I don't. I mean, I think he considered leaving, but then just thinking about it, he was like, "Oh, Miami is where I want to be," kind of thing. But
another jackpot winner.
But that could be why Dwayne's like, "Well, you should have signed me first. Get him."
You should have signed him first. But it was like, I'd rather have the young guys.
Talking about going home, how about Dwight Howard choosing to go home to play in Atlanta?
To Atlanta. A lot of people doesn't even know that he's from Atlanta.
I didn't know that either. I mean, I think I do, but you kind of forget about those kind of things. But
how about this though? Bradley Beal, 5 years, $128 million. With the
Bradley Beal, I'm still not sure about Bradley Beal. Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on him. I mean, I did read some of the articles where it was like, hey, they would trade John Wall before they trade Bradley Beal, like if they were going to do a straight up trade for Russell Westbrook. But I don't know, $130 million for a team that hasn't really been that far.
Done anything? No, and they looked really good for a while. I just don't know what happened with them.
So our main topic of discussion for one of our sessions here Harrison Barnes.
Yes, your max
Yeah.
contract player is getting his max contract, but not with the Warriors. But he is coming to the Dallas Mavericks.
So let me ask you this. So you got two more players after him, Chandler Parsons and Kent Bazemore. Chandler Parsons, 4 years, $94 million.
He's not deserving of that money.
Do you think Chandler Parsons or Harrison Barnes deserve that money? You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, it's Harrison Barnes. Really, he played more games than Chandler Parsons.
I think he plays better defense. 3 and 4. I think he just plays better defense.
I can agree with that.
Shooter. I think he's more reliable in the shooting aspect.
I'm not going to go there because it's going to go into the whole, yeah, he probably would have got more money if he kept making those 3-point shots he was wide open for. Like during the finals, Harrison Barnes was that guy out in the park where people go, let that guy shoot.
That's hilarious. But, I mean, Chandler Parsons probably would have been better if he didn't stay in Houston.
He would have been. But once again, that was your front office.
Yeah.
Instead of him.
Yeah. So I mean,
and I don't blame him from going, but at the same time, I mean, it kind of showed like, maybe.
Yeah, we could possibly squeeze Carmelo Anthony or Chris Bosh or.
So let's talk about some surprising signings.
Okay.
Your boy Timothy Mozgov, 4 years, $64 million with the Los Angeles Lakers. The very first signing announcement.
Yeah.
As soon as free agency started, the Lakers wanted to make an impact, and they did by signing up an NBA champion.
Let me tell you, that one was surprising, but you want to know what else surprised me? I'm going to give you 3 right now.
All right. Jeremy Lin to the Nets.
Jeremy Lin to the Nets, my friend. Oh, my goodness, what a pickup for the Nets. They finally hit a jackpot somewhere. I mean, he's not the best guard. He's not the worst guard. But he's a guard that's going to get them some scoring buckets outside of Brook Lopez.
I agree.
Number 2.
Evan Turner to the Blazers?
No. That was shocking, but that's not over the top shocking. Luol Deng. Spot to the Lakers.
Yes.
You know, because they definitely just drafted Ingram, you know, who can play the 3-4. He's a pretty big swingman, kind of, you know, he can do it all. 4 years, $72 million.
Mm-hmm.
The last one that really shocked the doctor right out of his shoes. Rajon Rondo to the Chicago Bulls.
Yes.
My goodness.
Yes.
What a shocker. Like, that's beyond Dellavedova. That's beyond Mahinmi.
Well, I mean, okay, wait, before that, do people really care where Matthew Dellavedova signs? Like,
he signed a $40 million. He's getting almost $10 million a year. That's
because of the inflation of the salary cap.
That's pretty crazy, even for him.
Let's just stop it. No.
Freaking.
I'm actually surprised you didn't say this move was surprising.
Big Al.
Joe Johnson to the Utah Jazz.
I didn't think it was surprising. I thought it was a great move because they can squeeze him back into the 2. They just traded for a point guard and George Hill. They can squeeze him into the 2. I thought that was perfect to go ahead with their 3 through 5 lineup. It's perfect. I did like.
I will say it right now. Beware of the Utah Jazz this year.
I can agree. I did like the Pacers bringing Big Al back.
Bring Big Al back?
Did he play for the Pacers at one point?
He played for the Timberwolves.
I think he might have to check that one, bro. He played for the Timberwolves. He played for the Celtics.
I remember him playing for the Pacers.
Let's check that out. I swore he played for the Pacers.
If he did, then obviously that must have been like 2 years.
Let's see, because I swore he played for the Pacers, and I was like, man, that's a great move. It's kind of weird because they have Miles Turner, and that makes it kind of strange.
I agree.
But I really think that he's good here. Maybe I'm mixing it up with the Pacers. I mean, not the Pacers, the Celtics.
I mean, there's another Al that played for the Pacers, and that's Al Harrington.
You know what? He played for the Jazz.
Yes. That's how I said. I was like, what? So he started his career with the Celtics, then he went to the Timberwolves, then he went to the Jazz, and then he went to the Hornets. Let's not call them the Hornets.
Yeah, so I thought that them picking him up was kind of a good move, but that's kind of strange. I don't know how Charlotte let him go.
Speaking of good moves, your Houston Rockets picking up Eric Gordon.
The doctor has left the building. It's a joke, right? Are you kidding me? I mean, like one thing said, what did it say? Rockets do their best with Plan B. Plan freaking B players. I mean, today we picked up Nene. Okay.
You did.
Okay. Plan B. Plan C now. So we could have easily had, like I said, they wanted Ryan Anderson for a long time. They wanted Ryan Anderson for about 2-3 years now. They've been trying to develop all kinds of trade packages for him. It just wasn't working out. I mean, personally, if it was me, I probably wouldn't have went that route.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, with all the players out here, I don't know if those are the two that I would have went after. But I do like what the Knicks did with Jennings.
See, I wasn't gonna start talking about the Knicks yet. I thought we was gonna start sliding into
Jennings and Courtney Lee. I thought what the Knicks did was outstanding, bringing in quality players.
They brought in quality players. I'm very excited this year. I am planning on trying to head out to the New Jersey, New York area to attend the opening home game. The doctor is also trying to join as well too, along with the other great people that we play ball with. Shout outs to the Asian American Student Union.
Hilarious.
I was their center.
I mean, there's still a lot of.
I mean, they also picked up Joakim Noah,
They
4
did.
years, $72 million, which is a great contract.
They did. I mean, there's a lot of good players left. I mean, clearly there's going to be some work down here to I guess, to combat some of these players. But I mean, there's still.
So then the question is, and the people are still talking in my ear right now, what team disappointed you the most so far
In free agency?
in free agency?
You mean outside of the Houston Rockets?
Oh no, there's a team that did worse than the Houston Rockets.
That's a good question. The team that didn't do enough.
3 words, good doctor. Los Angeles Clippers. They did nothing.
See, the only reason I was going to let the Clippers pass is because they drafted Bryce Johnson. I mean, that's the only reason. But that's the draft. I mean, Bryce Johnson is a stud. And I mean, I would go on the limb to trade for him right now. You know, if I'm any team, any trade package, I want Bryce Johnson. Like, for real. He's going to be a monster in this league. I'm thinking more of teams that did nothing, like the Toronto Raptors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understood what you said about the Grizzlies not really doing much. I thought
They pretty much wasted all their cap on Michael Conley.
Milwaukee.
You know what that contract is reminiscent of? Joe Flacco's contract.
Joey. I mean, Flacco's good.
Jersey Joe.
You can't say that Flacco's not good, though. He's a pretty...
Oh no, I'm not saying that he's a bum, but what I'm saying is that it hurt the franchise for a few years.
It did, because they had to get rid of a lot of good players and re-sign them. But, I mean, ultimately, people got paid. I mean, I can't say that the NBA is going to be fun to watch because of, you know, what happened with the top 5 or 6 people.
Yes.
But I'm interested to see where Dwayne Wade goes. I'm really hoping that he chooses anywhere, but,
You know, outside of the whole KD move, I mean, there was a lot of good, solid pickups.
No, absolutely. I can agree with that.
Like, a lot of good, solid pickups.
Except for what the Clippers did. I didn't think they did anything, you know. You know who really shocked me, though?
Who?
The Orlando Magic. They're
Re-signing Evan Fournier?
and bringing in Bismack Biyombo. I thought that was pretty interesting.
See, when I saw that contract, the first thing that screamed in my mind was Jerome James.
I mean, he is a first-round pick, though. I mean...
He is a first-round pick, but that's about it.
I mean...
Anything else that really, you know, jumped out at you about him?
I mean, he did grab all those boards. I mean, he's a rebounder. I don't know why they signed him though, because they have two pretty good bigs. I just like their aggression. There was somebody else that they signed. I'm trying to think of who else it was because I don't think it was just those two. I feel like they went out and got one more person for some reason.
Who
The Magic.
Orlando Magic? Who did they pick up?
They traded for Ibaka. That's what it was.
Yes, it was the Ibaka trade.
And I thought that's what I'm saying. So you get Ibaka, you bring in Biamba, you have two bigs there. You got Aaron Gordon there. I mean, they might be all right, man. In the East, of course.
Well, right now the rumor mills is currently saying that the Portland Trailblazers are now meeting with center Festus Ezeli.
Yes, and that's a good fit there. They wanted Dwight. They wanted a few people, and I was hoping that they would get a big out of that group because I felt like if a big went there, it would be pretty good because that's all they were missing.
Shout out to the sergeant.
Hilarious.
He was talking about something I put on Facebook.
Hey, but I mean, other than that, I mean, free agency, I always enjoy it.
I do as well. I actually really enjoy, free agency, the madness. And this isn't, March Madness. Mm-mm. But it's madness due to you don't know what can happen. I mean, no one thought that Kevin Durant was going to go to the Warriors.
No. I mean,
it took a great one-on-one with the logo. I mean, we knew because we're the Base Among Friends.
Like, we knew there was a chance. But...
And by the way, the Base Among Friends is brought to you by Not Your Father Ginger Ale and Stella!
Not Your Father's
pick up at your local grocery store.
Cream soda, which is, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm man enough to try that. Because I don't like regular cream soda, so...
I'm man enough to try it. If I find it, I'll try it out.
Hey, you let me know.
I'm like Mikey. I'll try anything once.
That's hilarious.
Food-wise.
There you go. But let's see. I mean, I guess the one thing we got to really just see is, who do we predict going into next year? I mean, are we thinking rematches? Any rematches?
In the playoffs?
Yeah.
Or in the finals?
In the playoffs.
It's going to be some shifts. We're going to see a couple of teams in the West go down in seedings. Like I said, I could see the Clippers still staying in that 4-5, maybe even hitting the 6 area. I mean, the Utah Jazz, like I said before, they could be a playoff team this year. I think they can definitely make that, step into it, and they could probably hit a 6-7 seed.
No, absolutely.
I mean, let's see. The Celtics can still, make a pretty good playoff push. I think they was 7 or 8 seed this past year.
I think it'll probably be the same in the East. Only teams that might push it a little bit, depending on if they're healthy, would be the Magic.
The professor is now 7.
Oh, wait a minute. The Knicks are going to be in there.
You just downplayed.
No. The Knicks are going to be in there. I mean, I think the Knicks are going to be moving into I'll say, top 4, top 5 discussion. I mean,
I can't agree with that.
No
I won't even sit there and go that we're going to be top of the East. I think we're going to make the playoffs.
Definitely playoffs. You got to make the playoffs.
We have to make the playoffs.
Even if
with the roster that we have now, we have to make the playoffs.
Even if Derrick Rose was to go down, as everybody's predicting, comically, they should make the playoffs, bro. Like, there's no question about it.
I completely agree.
But I mean, in the West, I just think it's from 4 to 8. It's pretty, or maybe even 5 to 8. It's going to be pretty tough. James Harden's going to have to be an MVP next year for us to make it. Dirk Nowitzki's going to have to be an MVP for the Dallas Mavericks to make it.
True.
It's not even going to be anything funny. Harrison Barnes is going to have to be an MVP for the Dallas Mavericks to make it. So we're going to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's jump ship real quickly because here at Debates Among Friends, we don't just talk about basketball and football and a little bit of baseball. Maybe hockey, maybe, don't know. But the other thing that we also talk about is some esports. And next week, there's a big event happening.
There's a big event.
And it's going on from next Friday to next Sunday. And that event is called EVO, Evolution 2016. And it will be just too sweet. The doctor and myself will be heading out there, and normally we would have our shows on Wednesdays, but we would actually be doing a live show live in Vegas on Saturday night.
Saturday night.
After the major pools heading into the championship night. So we'll give you our take on things that's going on, and a couple of highlights that we've seen, some lowlights that we've seen as well too. Doctor, do you have any thing to say heading into your first EVO along with me?
I'm really just interested to see the overall culture. Like we're gamers. You know what I mean? We play games all the time. We know we're gonna meet a lot of people. We should have went and got some freaking business cards made. We should have did. This is an opportunity.
Don't say that. You know how the professor is. I get stuff done.
But this also gives the opportunity to see a whole nother world, because this video game world, despite a lot of people thinking that it's immature and childish and those other stuff, people are out here making a living off of.
I'm sorry, it's a $2 billion.
Yes, I mean, I'm looking at some of these salaries, and these guys, you get in the top 8. I mean, my God. I mean, like I told the professor, I've never seen so many people actually use the block feature in a game in my life. Like, I mean, they were actually blocking. Yes. Like you're playing Street Fighter, and you're like, Hadouken, block, left, right, up. It's crazy. And I think it's just gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be a lot of celebration. Get a chance to get to a convention, maybe get some free stuff. I make sure I leave some room in my bag for those things. But I think it's gonna be fun, man. I really do. I think it's gonna be a good time. Me and my bro, the professor, and we're gonna have a good time, man. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome, baby, with a capital A.
With a capital A. I mean, I'm just gonna piggyback on him. I've been following esports, especially the FGC fighting game community, since about 2012. I've always been interested in, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, whatnot. I used to be highly competitive back in my days, back in my high school days. You know who you are. You know how you got body bombing, got wrecked. But I'm pretty much retired now. I mean, I would love to get myself back into it. I mean, maybe one day. Oh, goodness. Oh, Dr. Plus.
KO.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, he okay, we have to tell this story real quickly. There was a time in, I guess you could say, my heydays in, teaching people a thing or two about fighting games, where a particular person decided he wanted to face off against me in a game called Capcom versus SNK 2.
KO.
Mark of the New Millennium 2001. And there was a feature, a move that a character named Akuma does, where he comes to this guy and basically wreck you. And quite literally, the match started because, in the game, he wanted to have some customized features for the way that, we fight, whatever like that. So, with ourselves max gauges, and, he wanted to increase the amount of damage to each character to the max as well, too, like, whatever. So, the match started, and I'm gonna let the doctor describe how the match went. Doctor?
Ready, fight, KO.
And that's pretty much how the match went.
That was the funniest thing ever. There's no blocking that.
There is no blocking that. Well, I mean, he could have blocked that. The problem was he was too offensively minded. And with him trying to go for a move, and the move he was trying to do allowed him to stay still instead of move, it kind of happened like that. And it happened for each character, unfortunately. And the time he finally decided to block, my character, Shinakuma, decided to give him a Raging Demon. And that ended it. He put down the controller, and he had to think about his life for a little bit.
He should never play the game again.
I mean, it's not as bad as, the video that I sent you of last year's EVO, where I believe it was the grand finals or heading into the grand finals. Someone for Guilty Gear won a round, got up and celebrated like he won the match.
He came back and lost.
He turned around and his character is getting wrecked so badly And what made it even funnier is the fact that so it's going to be live on Twitch, ladies and gentlemen. I believe it's on Capcom Fighters. As soon as I find out, I will put a link out there as well too on our Facebook site and also on mine and Doctor's personal pages as well too. It was too terrible, but what made it funny was the fact that the chat was stating how bad this is. And if you don't have a chance to watch it, look it up. I mean, just put up like top Evo moments of 2015. It's going to be there, trust me.
Absolutely.
But that being said, it's going to be an awesome event. Like I said before, I got the doctor interested into it. I showed him a couple of things. Eventually I'll be procuring some fight sticks for me and him so we can start getting our Street Fighter, maybe Mortal Kombat, depends on what he wants to do on.
I think the more we get involved, I think the better it'll be for both of us, just embracing our inner child and getting out there and playing, a little 2K, a little Madden. Maybe,
absolutely.
I'm not gonna lie. I think I probably would do something different, like Killer Instinct or something crazy like that. Something different. You know what I mean? Not like, because Killer Instinct, they made a new one. The old one is really a classic. Some people haven't never even heard of Killer Instinct, which is crazy. But that might be something that I might be interested in going after, playing some Killer Instinct, or maybe if somebody comes up with like, what is that called, like Virtual Fighter or something crazy like that.
Which is a great game.
Yeah, go back to playing something like that. That's a little, I can probably go back and play some of that. But I think it'll be fun though, honestly.
Once again, we're both looking forward to it. We're gonna head out there on Thursday. Like I said before, any questions you have regarding Evo, definitely drop us a line. Either on either of our pages or on our fan page for Debates Among Friends. We're happy to answer those questions. Doctor, we have about 10 minutes left. Do you have anything else you want to tell the people tonight?
I just want to thank them for listening. We just continue to have some fun out here, talk about sports, especially with all the LeBron maniacs out there that are just running wild on the street still from their championship win.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
To now, everybody hating Kevin Durant because he chose to leave. And that's okay. Looking forward to the rest of the year when we get a chance to start talking about some other sports, video games that we can try, which someone actually shared a video with me of Rainbow Six, I believe it is.
Yes.
And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of looks similar to Battlefield, so I don't know, I might have to pick it up.
Which is kind of what kind of makes that genre of game becomes kind of stale because everything looks the same.
Like, it looks exactly the same, and I was like,
exactly.
I might have to pick it up just because it looks the same. And I like Battlefield, so I was in there like, okay. I don't really like those kind of shooters very much unless you're playing Left 4 Dead. But now it's like different because the guns are more...
Hashtag 2 guns.
2 guns. But I like to see the actual person, like Gears of War, of course. And I don't know, it's just something about it. When you just see the gun, you're getting hit, and then the person's like right there in front of you. You know what I mean? At least in Left 4 Dead, you can push them off or something. But most of those games, you can't.
Which the doctor is still learning a little bit.
Yeah, I'm still learning that left trigger button. Get off.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the doctor is starting to incorporate speedrunning into his gameplay for Left 4 Dead. He's done very well. He made a lot of progress, despite what he may believe, but he's become way better than the professor.
Now you're just pushing it.
The professor is no longer the man.
Oh my God. Pushing it. It's just okay.
But my takeaway, just like the doctor said, appreciate everyone listening out tonight. Definitely appreciate it. Anything we can do to try to make it better. We want to try to bring people on as well too, like we said before. Feedbacks, constructive feedbacks. If you tell us that we suck, we'll tell you thank you for telling us that, but then we'll probably tell you to take 2 of these just because.
Take 2 of them, yeah, absolutely.
But seriously though, we appreciate it all. Appreciate the support that we get from all of our friends and family. We're just looking to try to make this bigger. This is just a hobby for us, but it's just something that we always wanted to do. One thing we didn't talk about though, but we might end up having to talk about it after Evo, just because it's gonna happen as soon as we come back, is the brand split that's gonna happen in the WWE.
Is that?
That is
Friday.
That Monday.
I thought it was Friday. Okay.
That's that Monday.
Oh.
Or Tuesday. No, it's that Tuesday.
Tuesday. Well, I don't know if it's gonna be good for the WWE. I don't know if it's gonna be bad for the WWE, but it's happening regardless. I did see they brought in Vicky Guerrero, and it was funny because I was in Colorado, and my wife and a little cousin here, she was like, "Oh my God, her voice is so annoying," and I said, "Well, that's the whole idea of her
And
coming
that's
out
the
here."
point.
I said her voice is so annoying that she's a natural heel. You know what I mean? Like a natural heel. But why would they go?
Indeed.
Why would they go back into that well? That's such a strange well to go back into.
It's so funny that you mentioned that because they're bringing so many of these old timers in
Yeah.
as well too.
Like
And we talked about this before the podcast. They have a cornucopia of fresh young talent,
they do.
just wanting to make a name for themselves.
I don't know, man. I don't
But
know.
we'll see. But we'll talk about that soon. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for reaching out to us tonight. I am the professor,
And I'm the doctor.
and we're going to leave you off tonight with a new track. Like I said before, we always try to promote some underground music. We both enjoy some underground music, so this is A1 and Phonics Reflection featuring Rodney the Soul Singer. Once again, thank you very much. Have yourselves a great night. Love and peace.
What up, young soldiers? I wrote this from the bench. Chillin' like a villain, liquor weed is the stench. Thinking of my wrongs, trying to make it right. Looking back at all the bad karma in my life. I used to sell white to the people who were hurting, not realizing it was the vulnerable I was serving. It wasn't even me that was being Satan's servant. In prison and the free, killing spirits doing dirt when my thoughts were all savage, influenced by my flesh, not knowing that every day's a gift and a test. How can a flawed soul make peace with the Lord? How can I be free from the sin sword? Live by the gun, just thankful that I'm alive. Only a handful of homies are left, so I try to be a positive guide for those who will listen, giving a blind vision and fill them with wisdom.
So tell me what is wrong. I can't let go. Even in my heart, I lose control. All I see is my mind and soul. So look for what you know. Don't you let the lies hypnotize you.
To all of our daughters, I wrote this from the heart to let you know a woman is God's work of art. Don't let any man tell you you ain't smart, degrade your dignity and then tear you apart. Live with humility, have self-esteem. It's hard, but wait for the man of your dreams. What you hold is power, giving life to us all. You must pay attention to the writings on the wall. We celebrate pimps and call y'all hoes. Make it rain at the strippers at the club with the dough. But we need to make it rain at your graduation. We celebrate your ass, but not your education. I'm no different, I'm just a man on the surface. Move out your flesh, but I understand your purpose. Objectify the few, just wanna make it right. Understand, you have control of your life.
So tell me what is wrong. I can't let go. Even in my heart, I lose control. All I see is my mind and soul. So go for what you know. Don't you let your lies hypnotize you.
What up, young world? I wrote this from the heavens to let you know that every single day is a blessing. Even at your lowest point, fight off the depression. Shine from within, don't let them dim your progression. The youth is forgotten, a generation void. Wandering the streets cause so many are unemployed. Education trap, Sally Mae is the mob. Undergrad degree and still can't get a job. No credit, just debt. Quick to call you hipster, classism, no racism. Poor equals nigga. We can talk about the problems, but what about solutions? Your bright ideas can spark a revolution. If Occupy had an agenda and a leader, we might be a few steps closer to our freedom. There's power in your voice, exercise your rights, and no matter what, don't give up without a fight.
In today's life, will bring you so many sorrows. So live each day like there's no tomorrow. So do what you can to be the better man than you see. Yeah, so I say. So tell me what is wrong. I can't you know. Don't you let the lies hypnotize you no more.